Good evening, my fellow Americans. This is the 3rd of August, 2025 edition of A Quiet Rage. I took a week off last week and had intended to film as I normally do on Thursday of this week, but then the Minnesota Twins decided to just absolutely have a fire sale to end all fire sales, and I just wasn't in the mood for it. I'm still in mourning. Anyway, we're back. Here we are. And I've got two things I want to talk about today. A small topic to start with, and then a bigger, kind of a bigger topic. The one that has been on my mind. Start with a small one. As you no doubt know, if you're paying any sort of attention, the jobs report from the Bureau of Labor Statistics was released this week. And it was expected to be up like, 30,000. And it ended up being down instead. And so the jobs report did not meet the expectations or the hopes of the administration. It's worth noting that usually the Bureau of Labor Statistics is, not a political, it's in the administration, but it's not like, you don't play politics with that kind of stuff. Anyway, what did Trump do when he got the news that his jobs report for the months of June and July were less than stellar? He made them worse by pretty much immediately firing the commissioner of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, Erica McEntarfer? I'm probably butchering that. She's been working in the federal government for 20 years. So it's not like she, And again, normally this is not a political position, really. It's an administrative position. So he made the jobs numbers worse, just by one, granted, but still. Sorry, I got a phone call there. Let me go ahead and mute my. There we go. Mute the desktop too, so that doesn't bother us. So he fires the commissioner of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and then he goes to Truth Social and claims, and this part will shock you, without evidence, that the numbers were rigged to make him look bad. So he shoots the messenger and then blames her for the bad report. If I was a comedy writer, I don't know what I would do. If I worked for late night TV or Saturday Night Live, I don't know how you satirize something like this. I actually would think, because I've thought about this. It's been a couple of days. What is Trump prior to running for president in 2016, because he ran previous to that once as well, what was he most famous for? Firing people. And what was a big part of the Project 2025 blueprint on which his campaign for 2024 was run? Firing people. It was a stated goal of the Trump campaign and Project 2025, because they're the same thing. It was a stated goal that he was going to drastically downsize the federal government. He was going to fire a bunch of people. So this is jobs are down in part, not in whole, but in part because the federal government is laying people off. This could be an opportunity for him to say, yeah, of course jobs are down, because we got rid of all these people that, according to him, are not necessary in the federal government. Like, we fired, Doge went through with a chainsaw and fired a whole bunch of people. Hey, we did what we said we were going to do. Promises kept. Promises made, promises kept. But no, he's our president, President Trump, the president of these United States, is an idiot, as previously stated numerous times, continues to be an idiot, and probably didn't ever think of that. So I said that this was a small topic, but this is actually a really big deal if you zoom out just a little bit, because it's, I mean, it's giving North Korea vibes. Like, if you're the one to deliver bad news to the dear leader, your job is going to be forfeit. This is what authoritarians do. This is what shitty leaders do. This is what people in positions of leadership who are lacking in regular intelligence and emotional intelligence, this is what they do. They get bad news and they metaphorically cut off the head. They shoot the messenger. There were a couple of people I worked for in the Navy that were like that. You didn't want to be the one to bring them bad news, because it was your fault. I can remember a couple of instances in particular. I brought an issue to light, and I was asked, how have you let it be like this for so long? I'm sorry. I thought we wanted to identify issues and fix them. Apparently that's not what I was supposed to be doing, and that's not what this president wants us doing. Just bring him the good news. If it's bad news, fudge the numbers. And you can say, well, this is just one person. It's not gonna, it's not a big deal. I'm making a mountain out of a molehill. Except that everybody else in the federal government now, when they're tabulating a report, when they're passing information up the chain of command, you kind of gotta have it in the back of your mind, like, I wonder if it's bad news, like, I wonder if this is the one that gets me fired. Especially the closer to the president they get. And that's the problem with this as a leadership tactic. One, for us, for the country at large, it buries bad news. We will not get bad news. And when you don't get bad news, then you don't really have a full understanding of the situation that the country is in. If you don't get bad news, if you don't know that there are potholes out there to fix, you don't send anybody to fix them. And the roads just get worse. We need to know if something is wrong. We need to know if the job numbers are down so that we can do something about it potentially. And this is going to spread. Mark my words. We will get less and less of the important information, bad news especially, that we need as a country to effect the appropriate changes. Okay. Enough about that for now. The larger topic that I wanted to talk about in this episode, what I intended to spend the entire episode on, and then this jobs report thing kind of fell in my lap. Despite what MAGA might think, I personally, I do actually from time to time pause and think, am I taking this too literally? Am I taking this too seriously? Is it really as bad as I'm making out to be? Is it as bad as other people are making it out to be? The it here being just the Trump administration in general, and or the latest thing that comes down the pike. I do from time to time, because I've had a couple episodes that have had some serious numbers, and I've gotten a lot of negative comments, and I have tried, I continue to try to assess, to actually read as many of those comments as I can in good faith. Some of them obviously are not in good faith, are just trying to own another lib. Where am I going with this? On July 16th, the Senate passed H.R. Bill 1815, which is a program that will assist veterans if they are behind or in danger of going behind on their VA home loans. This program will assist these veterans in paying those loans. Or one of the big things the program does is you owe for the month of August, but you don't have it. Okay. This payment for the month of August gets put on the back of the loan. You get the month of August off, basically. It is designed to keep veterans in their homes, because anybody that with half a brain knows that if you lose your house, life becomes exceedingly more difficult. You are just one step closer to being homeless. It gets hard. It's hard to rent. This is a pathway to homelessness, is getting behind on your mortgage, obviously. So, On July 16th, the Senate passed it, and the president signed it earlier this week. I forget the exact date. Not important. And so I was thinking to myself when I heard the news story, I thought, okay, well, here's the Trump administration. Here's the Republican-controlled Congress doing something good. Should I give them their due? Should I say in an episode on a channel in which I routinely trash MAGA and the Republican Party and the cult of personality that is the Trump world, should I give Trump his flowers? Okay, he did something good. I thought about it. It really didn't take me all that long, to be honest. And I arrived at the conclusion that in this particular case, no, absolutely not. For one, Trump is at best a broken watch, a stopped watch, which, through no fault of its own, will technically be right twice a day. He's an agent of fucking chaos. And so part of the thought that I had was, if we, because I'm a coach, right? I coach Little League, and I understand that negative reinforcement is not a good way to teach, especially young children, what you want them to do. You want to praise them for the things they do right. Positive reinforcement. Yes, I'm trying to gentle parent. I considered gentle parenting our president. And I assure you I'm not the first person to do this. But for one thing, Trump is an adult. He's twice my age. And he's not going to respond at all. He's not going to respond the way we want him to positive reinforcement from the left when he does something with which we agree. He's just going to turn around and say, he's going to turn that around on us. That's what he does. Because he's a shitty person. He's a bully. He only cares about himself. So it won't do any good. Also, in this particular case, with HR 1815, this VA home loan forgiveness program, this is a situation of the Republican Party's own doing. They created the situation in which the previous program, because there was a previous program, it went away at the end of April. So in May, the Department of Veterans Affairs went to the Congress and said, hey, you guys let this go away? This is going to be bad. Now, full disclosure, there was a program during the Biden administration that also was allowed to lapse. And there was some scrambling to get the predecessor to the program that is now in. Biden let it lapse. We did something about it. Trump let that lapse, and now we've got this new one. That sucks. That shouldn't be. We shouldn't have to keep redoing this. And had I known that the Biden administration had let this lapse, I would have had something to say about it. I don't know how long it lapsed, but it was corrected. But the thing is, Trump doesn't give a shit about veterans. And I think part of why we didn't hear about this thing going away in the Biden administration is because they didn't try to make any hay about it when they corrected it. Whereas President Trump did. And now I don't know. Maybe I didn't dig too far into the Biden program. I'm focused on who's president right now. Trump doesn't give a shit about veterans. He has said disparaging things about veterans on numerous occasions. He uses us as a prop. He uses us as a political tool. President Biden had a son that served in the Army. He understands and cares about veterans. I know this. So I'm not in this case, and there's a good chance in any case going forward, that if the Trump administration, this Republican Congress, MAGA in general, does actually do something right, something with which I agree, I'm not inclined to golf clap. Especially if, as in this case, this was of their own doing. And really, I just thought of this. If the previous administration made that mistake and then you make that mistake as well, you get less points. You're supposed to learn from the previous administration, not make the exact same mistake. So, yeah, no flowers for the Trump administration on this one. Because they don't deserve it. Plain and simple. They do not deserve it. So, what can we do? Well, I will be going to a local Democrats meeting tomorrow. I'll likely have something to report next episode, which may be delayed. We'll see. Anyway, but when something like this happens, when the Trump administration actually manages to do something right, pull the string. Look into it a little bit. Pause for a moment and think, what? Because when I heard about the president signing this bill, there was a tickle in my brain. And I was just like, I know there's a reason that this isn't right. And sure enough, it's because this was a problem that they made. They could have had something in place so that because from the end of April until the third or fourth week of July, when Trump signed the new bill, veterans potentially behind on their loans or already behind on their loans were in limbo. There was the safety net that had been there was gone. And it didn't have to be that way. So, pay attention to these things. If it seems like the Trump administration is doing something right, one, there's a good chance that they're distracting from something else. And two, there's an even better chance that it was a problem of their own making. So, if, like me, you understand that an authoritarian who fires people who give him bad news is well downhill from the slippery slope, that this is bad news, then keep your powder dry and keep your quiet rage. Good night, my fellow Americans.